grateful to be with Julian, and we're talking about England, the football club, because they are in the semi-finals of the World Cup in 2026, which is pretty phenomenal. How are you doing, Julian?
Hello, Philip. I'm doing all right, thanks. I think I've gone live on my YouTube as well, but I'm not sure.
Well, if that's the
anyway,
case,
yeah. Can you
over there on the London Astrologer YouTube? Very grateful to be talking with you today, Julian, about the semi-final of the World Cup 2026. When was the last time England was in the World Cup? 1998. I was 12 years old the last time England was in the World Cup, and now we're in the semi-final. But the England Football Club have been doing fairly decently, getting to European finals in recent times, but no gold. But this could be our time. How do you feel about this, Julian?
Oh, I think we're possibly in for some luck. I think the England won the World Cup in 1966 with the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in Virgo, and right now Uranus and Pluto are trining each other.
In fact, that conjunction took place just about a week or so before the beginning of the World Cup in 1966, and the perfection of the trine. The first of 5 perfections that's going to happen for the next few years. But the first perfection is happening this week in the build to the World Cup final. I think it happens on the 18th, 19th, which is Thursday, Friday, depending where people are. So that's a really interesting fruit, because a trine is often like the fruit of the conjunction. And we've been through 60 years of hurt for English fans. That's what that we all been saying, because I remember in 1996 we hosted the European Championships, and the song came out from Venables and Skinner, and we had 30 years of her in the lyrics, which is like a Saturn cycle, right? Very interesting that we've had 2 Saturn cycles since winning the World Cup. But what that actually goes with is the Tibetan astrology, because that was the year of the fiery horse. They do repeat the same animal every 12 years in Tibetan Chinese astrology, but they have 5 elements. So the repetition of the 12 5 times is 60 years, and this is the first fiery horse since 1966 when England won the World Cup. I've got to feel that's in our favour.
Yeah. So we've got to hope for the best, haven't we?
It's jolly exciting, and it's hopes and dreams. It really is.
Yeah. It would be quite exciting turn up for England to win right now. I think it would boost the nation.
It would be really good for the morale of the country, and that's why it would be good for the economy.
It would be very good. Yeah.
So you're going to walk us through the horary.
Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to look at just some of it. You know.
What is horary?
I'm not going to make any definite predictions here, but I'm going to look at a sort of general overview of the chart, because I think that's a better way of looking at it.
But just to explain for people watching, it's 7 p.m. where I am in Canada, and it's about 10 past midnight where Julian is in England. And so we appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up for our due diligence and sharing it and subscribing if you're new to Julian's channel, my channel, whatever have you. We're very grateful for you doing those things. Can you explain what horary is, and so how we're using this technique?
Well, we're going to look at what we're actually going to apply are the rules that were invented by Guido Bonatti, a 13th century Italian astrologer, which are the rules for sieges of castles. So
they attack a castle, and how to do it with the evidence of the astrology chart.
Yeah, and so it's got those basic rules, and they were rearranged and reworked by the astrologer Bernadette Brady about 30 years ago, maybe a bit more than that, where she looked at the Guido Bonatti original 13th century rules, and she said it's good for sports competitions. And a lot of people agreed with that at the time. And John Frawley, the British astrologer who lives in Poland, he is very keyed into. He wrote a whole book called Sports Astrology, and he kind of adheres to those rules as well. And So we're just going to look at some of what I can remember of those rules, just a few pointers that should add to, and then you can make your own decision, really, ultimately. But we'll have a look at that, So Philip, on the screen, can you see the chart?
I can't see the screen, the chart on the screen, but if you...
Am I meant to share screen then? Is that what I've got to do?
Yes, if you could just share the...
Okay. There we
So
go. Can you?
I can. This is about 46 hours from now, because it's happening a little bit earlier from when we're doing this on Monday, on Wednesday, depending where you are, of course. And so we're going to have a new moon between now and then, and yet that moon's opening to its opening crescent. But that's not the horary rules, is it, Julian? It's just what I'm just reciting and looking at. Tell us how the horary rules work.
Yeah. Okay. So what we've got is two sides, two opposing sides. So the rules that I'm about to tell you work for all sports where there are two sides. Now that teams, so football, rugby, cricket, baseball, tennis. American football, very much so tennis, boxing. Okay. So it works with different, if you've got two sides. Okay. Now the basic rule here is that you have to know the favorite and the underdog, or the home team or the away team. Okay. Because there's the difference. There's your polarity, right? So one is ruled by the ascendant, yeah, and one is ruled by the descendant. All right. So now in this case, who is the favorite, yeah, in the England versus Argentina match when they're both playing on another country's turf, right? So they're playing in the United States, they're playing in the state of Georgia in Atlanta. And so who is it going to be? Who's the favorite at the moment? Now, I did a little bit of research into this, and some punters, commentators, etc., are indicating that England is just ahead in the favoritism because Argentina apparently has been struggling a lot in the World Cup matches with laborious extra time. Okay, so it would appear that in the matches, in order for Argentina to get its wins and so forth, it's had to push right into extra time, and England hasn't had to do that quite so much. So that puts England ever so slightly the favorite of this match. So I'm going to go for England as the ascendant and Argentina as the descendant. Now, there are several different ways of looking at this, okay? And this is just for people to enjoy, really, to listen to this, because you can start looking at match charts in your own way after this. This is just a technique for you to think about, right? So let's say England is the ascendant. So what's the ruler of the ascendant? The ruling planet is Mars, who is in Gemini, okay, at 11 degrees of Gemini. And then you have the ruling planet of the descendant, yeah, is Venus. And Venus is in her fall in Virgo, having recently conjuncted the South Node. Okay, now that, we'll get onto this in a minute, right? So firstly, we're looking at the condition of the favorites ruling planet and the underdogs ruling planet. So England's ruling planet is Mars in the 8th house. So its dignity is not too bad, okay? Because Mars in Gemini, dignity-wise, it's an air sign. Mars is a water and a fire planet. It's not that it's not in dignity. It has a little bit of accidental dignity because it's 8th house, which is the house ruled by Scorpio, the house associated to Scorpio. And this is what gives it a little bit of accidental dignity. But by essential dignity, it is a water or fire planet in an air sign. It's not bad because, as we know, by essential dignity, it's not in its fall, it's not in its detriment, and it's but also, of course, it's not in exaltation and it's not in domicile. But so it doesn't. It falls somewhere between a little bit of accidental. So probably maybe give it a +1 or a +2, something like that. Okay. Now, however, right, Venus is in Virgo, so the descending team. So this is, we think, maybe Argentina's planet, ruling planet, and Venus is in Virgo, in which she has essential dignity is in fall. Okay, so she's not really in a good condition to start with, and she's separating from the South Node. Okay, she has been recently with the South Node, and she also has recently just squared the planet Uranus. Right, so these are two indications that her recent aspects have not been that good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do you think that also resembles the, Argentina have got a lot of flack in the press this past week or so. So it's almost like they've been through a bit of a tight squeeze or a few rough patches. And you can see that in those aspects, funnily enough. But not only that, you can see that Venus is applying to square Mars.
Correct.
Which is interesting.
Well spotted. Because actually, that is the key to what we might call, is it going to be a draw? Now, when the two ruling planets of the two teams are in aspect to each other, the chances are it's a draw. But who has the stronger condition, right? Who wins by condition? And it would be Mars.
It's by brute force and stamina, isn't it?
It would be Mars, and that I would say Mars in Gemini is a kind of penalties kind of situation, because it's kind of hit or miss, and it's got that kind of quite near to the action, right near to things, because penalties, of course, are a very close interaction between the strike, the taker and the goalie. So yeah. So Venus is coming in to make a square to Mars. Very interesting, right? So I would say by dignity, it's looking Mars is getting a little bit more of a plus, right, at the moment, right? So now other indicators, right? Well, the angle of the descendant recently departed from Chiron, right? And that's also not particularly good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it's good. It's brilliant. But Chiron's very to do with football, because the myth of Chiron is strong when you think of football, because it was Chiron, the centaur, received an arrow in its hoof, yeah, which is like a foot, yeah.
Yes.
So football, so anyway, there's another indicator there that's. But not necessarily, and of course, Chiron at 0 Taurus, it has just been, or rather, Jupiter has just recently squared Chiron. Pluto is retrograding slowly back towards Chiron. We know Chiron goes retrograde soon back into Aries, but it is in Taurus right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So but this was very happening just a week or so ago.
What about this?
Jupiter's quite Chiron. Yeah.
We have Venus trine Chiron as well. That's just the end of that little bit. But I've seen that so Chiron's on the descendant. The angles are very important in a chart. So we have Pluto and Jupiter opposition, as well as the Moon in a conjunction of the MC. What do you make of that punctuation? It's an international affair, isn't it? And
yeah. Now, but for the what we've now got to do here, right, is. There's another indicator before we get into the next part of the chart, right? We're looking at the moment at the ruling planets between the two teams, but we also need to look at the axis and the modality of the ascendant and descendant. And where are they? They're in fixed signs. So what is the condition of what is the energy of the match, right? It's fixed. Which is, what do you think that is going to be? Long, drawn out, slow playing. Yeah?
In football, they will be playing a tight defensive game or not wanting to give each other the space to attack, you can imagine. And if they do attack, it's going to be scorpionic. Fast jabs, pronging forward, and then straight back to defend again.
Yeah. Yeah. So but it also might indicate extra time after 90 minutes and even a penalty shootout at the end, because neither's giving ground to one another. Fixed signs, very slow, right? Stuck in the mud type stuff. Saying all that, Atlanta's an air-conditioned stadium, so it's not going to be that hot. It's going to be a cool match. But because Atlanta is actually probably the best stadium, because it is actually in fact air-conditioned. Miami, where they played the other day, was open to the elements and was bakingly, swelteringly hot. And I think Mexico City had a very high altitude. So they've been doing all these different venues. But Atlanta is air conditioned. It's a sealed stadium, and they can choose the temperature. So they're going to be playing in a very cool environment, which is interesting. So because it's like checking the form of the whole situation, you know. So anyway, so there we go. Fixed. So we've got fixed modality. We've got the two ruling planets of the teams are in a applying square, which is indication for a draw. Now, Philip, the next thing we need to look at is what's going to happen with the moon, because the moon will give us the whole feeling of the match.
So
right?
the moon is start at the beginning of the game. In this chart, the moon is at 12.5 degrees or so, almost 13 degrees of Leo. But by the time, in actual fact, that the game finishes, if it's going to extra time, the moon's trine Saturn, which is time. And so I think that's quite interesting, if you were picking up upon that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would say rules, yellow cards, red cards, Saturn.
Yeah, lots of discipline and lots of...
quite possibly a VAR, because that's the FIFA new rules, is the video. They watch on video now.
Mind blown by all of that. I haven't seen a football game since they brought all that in, so it was very shocking and just slightly traumatizing to have all of that. But
so we can expect that with the moon trine Saturn, the moon's next aspect, the moon's at 12. Its next aspect will be Saturn,
Well, I would like to see
because it's already made a sextile to Mars, right? It's separated. It's separated from its sextile to Mars, right? So I think that's a very good indicator. Now we have another thing to look at here.
One more thing before you move off that subject, really.
Yeah.
So also, I know this is a bit more chit chat, but it's astrologically related. The referees have their names on their back now. They used to be anonymous, and they have to, if they do a VR, whatever it is, they have to speak to the whole stadium on their little microphones. And so they are like stars now, like the football players are stars in a certain way, which I think is really interesting with the moon trine Saturn, the moon, and the midheaven up there in Leo, sun stars.
And the referee definitely is Saturn because they wear black. Referees wear black. And Saturn's color is black. So here you've got Saturn in Aries, right? Which might be an impatient referee.
Also, all of these new rules. Like Aries is a new thing, so they've got new ways to enforce their discipline with these replays and all of these referees with microphones and such and such.
Yeah. Now, the next thing, right? There's two strong indicators as to why I think the ascendant will win the match. Okay. Part of fortune in the first house. Very good. Yeah. Quite obvious, right? When you get that, is a very clear indicator of a win for whoever this. If the part of fortune features in the first house, then it means that this is going to be a lucky team, right? It also happens to be. It won't quite trine the sun in the thing, but it's widely trining the sun and trining Mercury as well.
An association with Mercury because Mars is 8 faces along, which is in Mercury sign from part of fortune.
Yeah, and then the 5th house, is the gains of that team, right?
And there's North Nodes there.
And the North Node is in Pisces, and the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, and Jupiter's in the 10th with some dignity.
In the sign of the Lions.
Jupiter is a fire planet as well as a water planet. It's a fire planet, and it's in the Lions. Yeah, it's in fire, so it's fiery planet in fire in the 10th house. Yeah, and so I would say there are quite a lot of factors here that really push this team to be the winners. Because here's another way of looking at this, by the way. You can say this team is houses 1 to 6, and then the descendant is their way of doing the match is 7 to 12.
Okay.
Now, so the descendants, you turning the chart here, the descendants 5th, descendants 5th is the 11th. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So
and it has the South Node and a planet in its fall.
So it's conceding value by Venus and the South Node.
Lovely words. Conceding value, because Argentina's won quite a few World Cups, right? And values itself massively. Yeah.
And I feel like also because there's a couple of good other things that we could say. It's the media is Virgo, and so they're going to get a lot of flack in the media, and it's also health, so they might blame it on some health.
There might be some injuries, mightn't there?
Could be.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe. Maybe.
But what about the bottom half? What does that say for England?
Well, just that alone is a very good sign, and that in the 5th house, right? Part of fortune in the 1st, North Node in the 5th, right? And then ruling planet with some accidental dignity in the 8th, just having been sextiled by the moon. Literally, the moon is separating from that, and Mars is at 1157, and the MC is sextiling that by transit. The midheaven will move, is very close to it. So this is extremely lucky, right? There is a lot of luck here, right? But the question is this, right, that I'm still pondering over: who is the ascendant and who is the descendant? Because we've analysed the chart and we can see that the ascendant team is going to be the winner, obviously, right? To me, everything's stacked in its favour. But who is the favourite? Now, we started the video off by saying, well, it might be England, right? And I want to believe it's England, right? But what colours are the teams wearing for their match?
It could be that Argentina are wearing navy blue. They wear a darker blue as well, don't they? So that's very interesting. There could be a lot of aggression and a lot of striking with that Mars sextile the midheaven, but it makes that
England often wears red, doesn't it? Sometimes, if it's not wearing white, it wears red, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But this attacking Mars sextile
exactly
midheaven.
Yeah.
It's going to make that team look good.
Yeah.
One more thing.
And Argentina, am I right in thinking, is a blue and white stripes?
They can do navy and blue and a lighter blue. I'm not an expert on their shirt, but they got a lighter blue and a darker blue. One other thing, Julian, there's only 2 days or so out of most years where you'll have a mutual reception between the sun and the moon, and today is one of those days for that. When this game is being played, we have the moon in the sun sign Leo, and we have the sun in the moon sign Cancer. I think that's quite nice too.
Yes, it is actually. Yeah. It should provide a nice. That's a nice. Yeah, mutual reception is nice. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Really, can you? It looks good. I mean, I would be wary of that Mercury still under the sun's beams being retrograde. But then it's not actually assigned to anything in the chart except the 8th and the 11th, which is where the rulers of the planets are. So it kind of there's no. I would say with that means there's no clear indicator of a winner, because the ruling planets of the ascendant and descendant, one's in Gemini, one's in Virgo. Both are ruled by Mercury, who is under the sun's beams and retrograde. Yeah,
that's interesting, isn't it? That it's such a it's actually it's a T-square, isn't it, with the North Node, Uranus and Mars and Venus and the South Node. But it's a mercurial T-square, as you say, because Venus and the South Node are in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, and Mars and Uranus, the midpoint of that T-square, if you will, is in Gemini. When you have a T-square, you're meant to use that point in between. So it's the Mars and Uranus, which are the point that's getting them to the North Node. Yeah. And as you say, it might be the penalty shootout.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see.
Well, I'm very grateful for you taking the time. If you want to...
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm really glad to have chatted with you about this. And I had to get the rules across to you, didn't I? It's quite interesting. Oh, I love doing this. Come and call on it, Philip. You know, give me a shout whenever you want to do one of these. So I love this sort of stuff.
Unminimise the screen. I'd like to say to the audience, show your normal screen back on. Thank you. If we are obviously very passionate and excited astrologers, but we're Englishmen. So if there's any Argentinians watching this, do comment below and do tell us what you think, if you've got anything to the contrary of what we've been sharing, because we're very grateful for that. But other than that, it's coming home.
It's coming home. I like that. Yeah. Let's hope for the best, eh? It's been pretty amazing to watch them play. There's some really good dynamics in the team that might not be obvious at first. I think Thomas Tuchel is an ace manager. He's really.
I think what I've been hearing him say in the interviews, he's choosing his players for camaraderie and spirit rather than a technical skill, and that takes them further and makes them bond, and that's the team spirit that makes success in my eyes.
It certainly does.
Well, thank you so much, Julian. Thank you again for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're going to come back and do another video for the final either way, no doubt, because it's quite fun. And we hope that we get to talk about England in the final.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we could do Premiership matches like this as well, you know. So
yeah,
even after the competition,
maybe we can make a series out of this if you like that.
Could be a regular slot, couldn't it? We could aim for doing football astrology.
I'm open.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Cheerio for now.
Nice to see you, Philip, and see you all again soon, folks.
Recording stopped.
I think you might have to stop your end if you're doing a live on YouTube as well.
That's actually a good idea. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Have a great day, you guys.
There we go. I don't know. Hang on, end stream. How do you do that? Yeah.
So technical. I haven't done a live on there for